This is a story of just a girl and her dog and the adventures of Graysen. This is a story of a girl and her dog, Graysen's adventures in Petlandia. Graysen lived in Columbus and dreamed of being a star with her very own TV show and a chauffeur-driven car. But being cute and furry made stardom rather tough, especially when the only words she knew was wolf and rough. Feeling brave, she folded up her PJs and flannel along with some ideas for her Graysen YouTube channel. Sneaking into Pammy Jo's room, she scrawled a doggy note. Then she gently kissed her on the cheek and went to get her coat. Scampering through the moonlit streets with thoughts of being wealthy, Graysen stopped beside a sign and thought, "I'll take a selfie." Pulling out her iPhone, she posed and took a snap, then headed for the airport while squinting at her map. Graysen was excited because she'd never flown before, unless you count the time she slammed a laptop on her paw. When Graysen got to Hollywood, she set up several meets, but most of them went wrong because she tinkled in the seats. And even though she tried her best, the top dogs weren't impressed. "We've seen your act before, kid, and look at how you're dressed." "I need to learn some new tricks to really make me shine, and then I'll take some videos and post them all online." Meanwhile, back in Columbus, Pammy Jo found a note. "My dog thinks she'll be famous. What a silly goat." But suddenly, she looked up and saw Graysen on the news. She'd become an online superstar with 50 million views. "It seems my dog's got talent," Pammy Jo thought out loud, and even though she missed her friend, she was also very proud. There was Graysen on a chat show, tootling away, while teetering on a unicycle and doing dog ballet. Soon the world was going wild for Graysen's jolly tunes. You could even buy a storybook and see her in cartoons. She bought a doggy mansion, a limo, and a yacht. She even met the president and partied quite a lot. Other doggies lined up to shake Graysen by the paw, and scripts for pet-based movies came tumbling through the door. She'd sit and count her money while lounging on her throne. But when she wasn't working, she'd often be alone. Because she felt so lonely, Graysen bought more stuff. But even though she had it all, it wasn't quite enough. She tried some doggy yoga, which she thought might make her happy, but that just tied her up in knots and made her sore and snappy. Then suddenly it hit her as she sat there on her own. What Graysen wanted most of was to be snuggled back at home. Yes, she'd miss her fancy life, the palm trees and the chauffeur, but none of that compared to cuddling Pammy Jo on the sofa. So she called off all her concerts and she gave away all her things. But all the flights home were fully loaded, so she clung onto the wings, hanging on for dear life as the plane took to the skies. Made Graysen think of Pammy Jo as tears welled in her eyes. Soaring over Columbus, Graysen thought, I've had a hoot, but home is where the heart is, so I need a parachute. Fumbling in her suitcase, she found a sparkling gown, so she used it as she leapt off to sort of slow her down. Tumbling through the fluffy clouds was really quite a rush, but Graysen had to slow down or she'd soon be doggy mush. Just then she saw a mattress dumped upon a roof, so she steered herself towards it and touched down with a woof. Jumping into Pammy Jo's arms, Graysen cried out with joy. Then Pammy Jo squeezed the squeaker in a squishy squeaky toy. Fame is pretty epic, but snuggling is the best, thought Graysen as she curled up for a well-earned rest. Miles away in Hollywood, things were much the same, as countless pets arrived each day in hope for wealth and fame. They often spoke about that dog who played the saxophone and how she left it all behind because she missed her home. But Graysen wasn't bothered that she'd given fame the shove, because her trip had taught her what really counts is love.